I am Victoria L. Burson. This is Leadership on the Go. Leadership is not always preparedness for the unknown, but it is tapping into the unknown prepared. Greetings, everyone, and thank you for joining us tonight. Listen, like, share, tag. We are on YouTube, and our production person will highlight that for you. However, you don't want to miss this. You don't want your friends to miss this. So I am saying to you to like, share, and tag, because this is going to be an evening to remember. It's going down like Dr. Freddie Haynes would say, 4 flat tires. All right, and so let's get ready and get started. Again, like, tag, and share, because we're about to talk about one of the most sensitive subjects in the world right now amid COVID and post-COVID, depending on how you see things right now. And so let's go ahead and get started. You have joined us. This is Leadership on the Go, and we are excited about tonight. We are talking about tonight's subject is rebuilding and reimagining my wallet. How many of you want to rebuild and reimagine how you do finances, or even think about finances, if you will? And so without further ado, we're doing this with the renowned Charlotte Stallings from Houston, Texas. And so we're just going to go ahead and bring her on and let her introduce herself and say welcome to her. And so Charlotte Stallings, thank you so much for joining us tonight and doing this broadcast with us. Some call it show, but we are glad that you accepted the invitation to come to Leadership on the Go and tell people, and tell me, and tell others how to rebuild and reimagine our wallet, right? And so can you introduce yourself? Let everybody know who you are and whose you are, right?
Hey, Victoria, it's good to see you tonight, and it is my pleasure to be here. Thank you for inviting me to be on the show, Leadership on the Go, and where we're talking about, I love your title. I love this title, Rebuilding and Reimagining My Wallet, your wallet, all of our wallets, because sometimes they get a little janky. So here's my background. Here's who I am. I'm a native Minnesotan. If you know me, you know that I'm from Minnesota. Even though I've been in Texas for over 25 years, I still claim the soda, where Pooh hails from, and Terry Lewis and Jimmy Jam, and me and my siblings. So I am the eldest daughter of Virgie and James McGregor, and I'm proud to say that. My mom raised us, and we didn't have a whole lot. And we didn't know it, Victoria. We didn't know we weren't in the best shape, because my mom loved us. She taught us so much about just loving. And here was a big message she always conveyed, was it's not going to be this way always. She'd always say that. So we grew up in public housing and Section 8 housing and different things. And I learned how to make ends meet. And I don't say that in any disparaging way. My mother taught me and taught my siblings how to hold it together, how to do what we needed. And but yet there wasn't always a lot of resources available. We had been exposed to lots of opportunities, going to the theater and things kind of post riots way back in the 60s. I'm really dating myself. We were exposed to lots of opportunities to see outside of those housing projects. And I am thankful for that, because that allowed us to dream and to see other kinds of things. But I didn't know what existed beyond our square, and our housing project was in a square. And so it was after getting finished at the University of Minnesota, getting a great job at American Express, and learning some things about investing. And we'll get more into it, but juxtaposing my crazy life, overspending, tired of being broke, really being broke, even though I was working, and being in this position where I was challenged with teaching, helping our advisors teach their clients about investing and saving, but I didn't know about it. So it was a great opportunity to learn and to grow. And that's where I like to say I cut my teeth on sales and marketing and leadership and learning about investments. It was at American Express, starting in the travel and card side of the business, and then moving over into the investment arm, which is now called Ameriprise Financial. And I would likely still be there, Victoria, except my position was eliminated. They spun off our division to become what is now Ameriprise. And the day that my position was eliminated, it was the day that Hurricane Katrina hit, and I was out of town. And my boss called me and said, "We got to have a talk." And I said, "Right now?" She said, "Yes." And I was holed up in the airport waiting on the flights. And she said, "I'm here in a conference room with an HR person." I thought, oh, what's done happened? HR, what is going on? And she told me my position was going to be eliminated. And I started to cry, really, Victoria, because I thought, this is like a breakup that I didn't initiate, because we've been together 20 plus years and I've been doing a great job. I love my job. And she just said, you've got 30 days to figure out what you'd like to do. If you can't find anything else, then we'll have to part ways. Well, then the HR lady spoke up and she told me how much severance I had. And I started drying my tears. I said, "I'm going to be okay." I had a lot of severance. I said, "Oh, I think I'll be all right. Just in the papers. Let's see what we can figure out." So I did search in earnest for a good month, but I was doing what I loved, which was speaking and teaching and training. I was a corporate spokesperson for the firm. So I've been on CNN. I've been quoted by the Wall Street Journal, featured in Essence and Money Magazine and different publications, Kiplinger's. And there wasn't anything else that was there that I wanted to do, because I loved what I was doing. Teaching, training, consulting, coaching folks on how to be smarter about their money. And so at that point, I decided to start my own business as a coach and consultant and keynote speaker. And I am so thankful God has blessed me to be able to do what I love. I've written a little book and it's been around for a while, but it continues to sell and be a blessing to people. And so I get to do great things like this, which is talk to great, amazing people like yourself and everybody out there on Facebook land and YouTube land and wherever you are. And I know that people will watch this later. So it is my honor and pleasure to be here. I'm the wife of Ron. We've been together a long time. We have one child, Milan Elise Stallings. She's a senior in college up in North Texas. I'm the proud daughter of Virgin McGregor. My father passed on in late 2018. And despite the fact that he didn't raise us, we had a good relationship. And I'm thankful that before he passed, he could see me grow and develop, and have 4 amazing siblings who are across the country. And I live in Houston, been here forever. So I'm a Texan, but I'm still from Minnesota, kind of, sort of. So.
Oh, wow. I get it.
That's me. That's me. Yeah.
I get it. I still own Atlanta. I've been there the longest. Wow. I just love Atlanta, even though I'm here in Maryland. So listen, let's get started. Thank you for introducing yourself and letting the people know who and whose you are. Is very important, because we're about to talk about a very sensitive subject matter, particularly amid or post-COVID, however people are viewing it. I want to say both. Sometimes I say amid, sometimes I say post, depending on the conversation. But let's start talking about the reality has sunk in. People have lost jobs. People have lost income because of losing jobs. They have been displaced because of COVID. And so there's a lot of grief there around finances. So how does one begin, particularly people over 40 or 50, how does one begin reimagining their wallet? I'm gonna let you take it from here, and we'll ask some other questions here. But I just want you to let's have a conversation. But I want you to do most of the talking, because I'm listening and learning for myself as well. Okay. And so
that is hardly not a conversation if I'm doing all the talking. Okay. The word conversation, the root of that, con is with. Okay. Con is with. So
I'm gonna be with you.
You're gonna be with me. You're gonna be talking to me. So I am delighted to share some things. So first, I want to reference this, and I appreciate what you're saying in light of COVID and all that's gone on. I mean, this has been unprecedented, certainly in my lifetime, and for others, nothing that we've experienced ever like that. There have been some traumatic times. I remember not 2019, but when the World Trade Center that happened, and I thought we've never experienced anything like this. I mean, we had not at that time, and have not since. Yet this is another thing that's like, how will we recover from this? Because so many have been impacted and affected in such significant ways. So I want to start with this, Victoria. You said this. You said money is one of those sensitive topics, sensitive subjects. It's almost taboo to talk money. And I tell you what, that is not good. That is, I think, part of the challenge overall. It's that we don't have conversations about money. And except when things get tight and sticky, then we have conversations, and the conversations sound like this. Can you help me out? Can you let me hold $20? What do I need to do? And so it's the conversations that we need to have. And I know somebody, I see it in the chat, my camera just got wonky. I don't know what went on, but I can pop in and out and see if that helps it. So if you take me out of the studio and bring me back in, maybe that will help me, please. Okay.
Okay. So all right, good.
Okay, we did that, but it looks like I'm still blurry. So I'll keep talking. Maybe it'll...
Yeah, just keep talking. You're still blurry, but you still look good. Go ahead.
It's the blur. It's all about the blur. So I want to say this. This is the first step with us relative to COVID or anything else around our money. I believe it starts up here. It starts way up here in terms of our mindset. And there's something I often say to people. It's we got to start. First place is you and I were talking about it, Victoria. It's what I call the 3 E's, the letter E. Money is not easy. Personal finance and investing isn't easy, right? But these E's are some things that I've been able to try to share with people, and they've helped me. The first E is examine. The second E is explore. And then the third is execute, or embark, if you like that word better. But examine. So if COVID has left you in a crazy place or not, or you know somebody where it has, I want you to start with examining behaviors around money, examining truly where you are. When you say it's maybe wreaked havoc in our lives, let's stop and assess. What do we have? It's almost like in the Bible where the Lord said, what do you have in your hand? As he was leading across, the children of Israel. And it's like, you've got this staff, and then tap it, down, and then the waters parted. It's like, we do have something. So this, examine what you do have at your disposal, what assets you have, what information do you have, what knowledge do you have, what skills do you have. Examine all that you do have at your disposal. Because sometimes we can be overwhelmed and go, ooh, I'm in no place at all. I don't have anything, but we do. So I want you to examine what you do have. What is at your disposal? What skills, expertise, your network, who do you know? Examine, really examine. And mindset. So let's go back to that. Examine your behaviors. So this thing about money being sensitive or taboo, doesn't have to be. Examine the behaviors. Do you talk about money on the regular? Like your children, is there discussion about money or not? What are we doing? I say this, and it's I appreciate, my mom did include me in conversations about money. If a bill was late, here's what we need to do. Here's how we take care of it. We move money around to get it done. And so I learned some great skills. Conversations beyond that didn't occur, however. And she says there wasn't more money to talk about, so there was no conversation to be had. So how about now for Charlotte? How about you? I don't mean you personally, Victoria, but I mean everybody listening. Examine your behaviors around money. Are there conversations on the regular? Do you talk about goals? Do you talk about the expenses? Do you include the family? And how are we going to be able to achieve the goals and the desires that we have? What do you do? Here's what I often say as well. Ignoring the facts doesn't change the facts.
Say a little more.
I'll say it again, and then I'll say some more. Ignoring the facts doesn't change the facts. So if the facts are, you're not chatting about money on the regular, you're not planning, you're not having, like, I know a family, they have Friday night finance day. And they sit down and they talk about the budget with their little kids, the mom and the dad and everybody. So if somebody wants to get something, somebody wants to go somewhere, somebody wants to, play a sport, do something, they're having a conversation about it every single week. And that's great. And one might say, well, that's not my home. I don't do like that. I don't know. And I'm not saying you have to do that, but what are you doing? Because it starts here. And we'll talk strategies tonight, Victoria, but we can talk strategies all day long if I've not made the decision that I want to make a mindset shift. So money doesn't have to be taboo or sensitive. Then I'm able to go somewhere. So I want to do this little exercise, and this is something I told you about. And I know my camera is still fuzzy. Again, maybe Miss Sue, you can take me out and bring me back in again. Maybe that'll do something to it. But here's the exercise. Victoria, is it okay if I instruct us on this exercise? It's real simple.
Yes, yes.
Okay, here we go. I want you and everybody, and I do this often, so it's a good exercise because it gets us some foundational stuff. I want you to make a list of the top 10 most important people to you. I'm going to stop talking for about 15 seconds, and I want everybody who's listening, whether it's now live or replay later on, make a list of the top 10 most important people to you. Okay? Begin now.
We're doing the exercise right now. Our guest will be right back. So right now, our guest, we're just trying to work on her camera to come back, but she has us doing an exercise right now, and that is make a list of the top 10 most important people to us. Now, I don't know where she's going with that, but I'm quite sure it is connected to money and I don't know how we value those. I don't know. I don't even want to sit here and make something up, but Charlotte will be right back. So she's giving us 15 to 20 seconds to see if she can come back in. Way better. Yes.
A little better. Look at God. Won't he do it? Okay. So good.
All right.
Everybody should have your top 10 most important people. Okay. So here we go. So you need eyes on me, because here's the question. Okay. And this does have to do with money. So where were you on the list? Where were you on your list of top 10 most important people?
That's good. That's good. Because I have to say, as much as I coach people to love thyself, I didn't put myself on there.
So we're going somewhere with this. So you didn't put yourself on the list.
I did not put myself on the list.
So let's talk about it, Victoria. Why not?
Because I was focusing on the people who was most important to me that I valued. And I didn't think it wasn't coming up to think about myself. Of course, I love myself and value myself, but it didn't happen in this exercise. Wow.
I understand. And wow is my same experience. When I first was introduced to this, it was some years ago. Actually, I was reading this book because I'm gonna let you in a secret. It's called the Flat Belly Diet, because that particular year I was working on the middle. And of course, I'm gonna find Miss Sue said wow as well. She's following along with our exercise. So I went and I looked for a book, because I'm gonna find a book on everything, and it was gonna take care of the middle. And I'm looking for the strategies, and I'm going through and I'm into chapter 5, and I'm mad because there's no strategies. And they do this exercise. They say, list the top 10 most important people. And so I do, and I write down the Lord and my mama and everybody on the list. And then the next page at the top, it asks that exact question: where were you on the list? And I slapped that book together and I tossed it in the corner, and I went looking for my receipt because I was going to take it back, because that was not helping my middle. But then I picked it up and I kept reading. And the point was simply this, Victoria, and here's how I'm applying it to our money. You asked me, for the person who's, COVID, they've been affected, what should they do? It's got to start up here. And that was the question in the book. We can talk to you all day long about you need to eat protein and vegetables and drink a lot of water and go to bed and get plenty of rest. That helps us so we don't contribute to the middle. But if we don't decide up here that I'm important enough,
yes,
I matter enough, my goals and objectives matter so much that I'm going to ensure that I see about me so that I can take care of all the other people I put on the list. And it's like this, Victoria, I know you've flown before, okay?
yes,
And what is it that is either on an automated voice thing or the flight attendants up flight before we even, we're taxiing down the jetway? You know the announcement. In the
yes.
unlikely event that we have a decrease in cabin pressure, what's going to happen? Tell me the rest of the story, Victoria.
Well, I call it the theology of the airplane. Put your mask on before you put it on someone else, right? And
You call
so,
it the theology of the airplane. It's got
yes,
a whole theological thing. That makes sense coming from a preacher. So you're right. The theology of the airplane. That mask, if there's a drop in cabin pressure, it's going to come out first. So you put it on you so you can help the person next to you. I can't help my mother. I can't help my daughter, my spouse, my nobody. If I'm
right.
the same thing with our money. And so this idea of the list, if I'm not on the list, if I don't deem myself worthy to say these goals, these things I want to do for me, I'm not going to be able to help anybody because I'm seeing after everybody, but not seeing after me. So
that's good.
First things first. First things first, we've got to shift our thinking. So when I talked about these 3 E's, examine, explore, and we'll talk about execution and embarking, examine behaviors, examine mindsets, examine how important you are relative to everybody else. And it's not selfish. My name was nowhere on the list the first time I did it, but man, did it help me get it.
Right.
So when
Charlotte, it's ironic. If I could just cut in, it's ironic that you would say that, is because I think I shared this with you, that I share this all the time. I've shared it in the pulpit when it, scripturally, and I shared it as a professional coach, is that old mindsets, spiritually, I said old mindsets cannot house new blessings. And then as a coach, I said old mindsets cannot house new opportunities. Right. And it is. And you're talking about the same thing, shifting the mind to think about and see money differently. That's the first thing we're going to have to do.
That's the first thing we're going to have to do, or otherwise we're going to keep doing the same thing.
Right.
We're going to continue the same behaviors. And I saw it for myself. So complete transparency. I remember just feeling so broke. I wasn't feeling broke. I was broke for a long time. I mean, growing up, we didn't have a whole lot. So the first time I was in college, had a part-time job, and American Express sent a card application. And I said, if they're fool enough to send it, I'm fool enough to fill it out. So I just annualized whatever I was making, my hourly wage, and they sent the card back, and I went berserk. Berserk. I was happy, I'd shop. I was sad, I'd shop. I had to go to work, I'd shop. I got off work, I'd shop. I've had an argument with somebody, I'd shop. We made up. I was crazy behavior. And so then I got more money because I thought the issue was not having enough money, but I got more and the behaviors continued. Then I paid off that debt. The behaviors continued. I learned new stuff. I hadn't had a shift in thinking and behavior. So I don't want anybody to think, oh, she's beating a dead horse. Yes, I am, because it's got to start here. And there's discipline. There's other things that we can and should employ to help us be different. Yes, life happens. Sometimes it's self-imposed. Sometimes it's externally imposed on us. If you got furloughed from your job, that wasn't your choice. That wasn't your, like, hey, furlough me today and, get my whole
right.
jacked up. No, that was not the case. Or you've had health issues. That was not your choice. So life can happen to us, and it can be devastating. I'm not going to minimize or negate any of that. Yet what I want to say is, what's our mind like? What's our mindset around money and the value that we hold? We need to be on the list, okay?
Well, how do we execute? Because I'm trying to get everything out of you before you get off this broadcast, right?
Okay, so we spend a minute.
Explore.
So
Explore.
examining where you are. Then we need to explore. Explore what? Explore the strategies, explore different ways to help us get to where we need to be, where we want to be financially. Now, I told you some things the other day, and I'm going to reinforce this. So the person who's been affected by COVID or not, your life never changed. You just started working at home and your paycheck hasn't changed or anything. I want you to examine and then explore different strategies to help you improve your financial situation. There are only two ways that I'm aware of, Victoria, that you can change your financial situation. One is you increase your income and or you reduce your expenses. That bottom line.
Say it again, because you froze a little bit. Say it again.
Okay, you either bring in more money or you reduce what's going out. Or you adjust that equation. It's about what you bring in and it's about what goes out. So to improve your financial situation, and especially if you've been affected by COVID and this reimagining and reinventing, our wallet, I would say explore again what you have. What skill sets do you have? Let's say the job hasn't called you back and it's been tough to go find something. Then entrepreneurism. What gifts do you have that you can monetize? Gifts that you have that you can monetize. The Bible says.
Say a little more about that. Monetizing your gifts. Say a little more about that.
Well, the Bible says, our gifts will make room for us. So
right.
What are you great at? What do you love to do? What solution, what answer to what problem can you provide? And I'm saying start a business. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying look at the talents, the gifts, the abilities that you have and go see who will pay you for that. It costs us nothing today. Statistics show that women start businesses at a far greater pace, and especially women of color. And that's amazing. There's so many resources. In every city, there is a women's business enterprise association type of something that exists to help women, especially women, start and sustain their businesses. There's also small business development centers in every city, every state across the country. So men, women, everybody who wants to get into business, don't wait is what I'm saying. Don't just wait on somebody to give you something, or if they haven't called back at work or you're having a tough time finding something, go start a business. You can, you absolutely can. And how do you do that? I say it's simple. When I say simple, and I wish I had a clean piece of paper here, and this one's kind of clean. Get a sheet of paper and just start writing. And even make it simple. Put the timer on your watch or on the microwave, like for a minute, 2 minutes. Just write down everything you love to do. Everything you've loved to do from childhood, things that you're good at, things that people tell you you're great at this. Oh my gosh, call Victoria. Victoria is really, really good at this. All those things you've ever heard that you're good at. Don't judge it. Don't say, I don't know, I didn't really like that. Just write it down. Come up with the list. And then when the timer goes off, stop. And then look at that list and analyze. Now, okay, and see if there's any threads, any common threads. So I'll give you an example. So I love to speak. I love to speak. I love to talk. My daughter would tell you, I will talk to a rock. I just love to talk. And I used to think it was like this bad thing. And I try to pull back and not say anything. And I learned it's a gift. Some people are
absolutely
to get up and speak, and it's a gift. So I learned to embrace that. That's a gift. So on that list, I wrote talking. I'll figure out how to monetize, but write talking down. And I like to explain to people and teach them and take difficult conceptual ideas and make them simple and put all that on the list. And I like to organize and I like to have parties and put it all down there. And then see if there's any threads. Are there connections? Are there any connections there?
Absolutely.
Maybe there's opportunities. If they're not a worry, but make a list and then, come up with a name. And buy the URL, go on GoDaddy.com and put it in there. If nobody else has bought that URL, buy that. You don't even need to have a website. You can have an Instagram page. You can have a Facebook page.
Absolutely.
And then what do? You tell everybody you know. You know what? I'm in the speaking business. Yep. I speak, and I speak to people about XYZ. And who do you know who needs somebody who can come in and speak? And then what you do while those people you've communicated to, you tap into what my sister references often, low-hanging fruit. So at your church, you need to be, if you're a speaker, then you need to be speaking to children's church or the women's ministry or whatever ministry you're
Absolutely.
engaged in. You got to be doing it, okay? So every organization or association, your homeowners association, you need to be on board. Your kids' school, you need to be there everywhere if that's what you do. And so you're
Absolutely.
doing it. So the idea is take your gifts. And you can get on Etsy. If you make some cool stuff, you can sell stuff. You can have a shop on Etsy. There's so many different ways to be doing. And so I offer that to people. Don't feel like there's nothing you can do. You have gifts, talents, and abilities.
But I want to do just a slight pushback, not for the sake of you, but our listeners. Sometimes when we coach people that you can do anything, you can be all that you want to do and use your gifts and your graces and your talents. Sometimes we go out and we start businesses that, and I like how you said, don't judge it. Take 2 or 3 minutes, make your list, but don't judge it. And I think 2 things that happen. We judge it because in our mindset, somewhere we believe about ourselves that we cannot do it. We cannot master it. The other thing is that sometimes we take on ontologically what someone else is doing and try to be or emulate that person. And then when a failure comes in, it wasn't a part of anything that we were happy about doing in the first place. We were just out there trying to do something. Right. And that sometimes may happen. But in most cases, some people, I've talked to people who have taken on something that they really didn't want to do in the first place, but they were so desperate for income. Right. And I used to be that person, but I refuse to just be desperate for income just to do anything that brings me no joy and no passion.
I agree. I agree with you. Now, there are times, I will say this, where we just have to do what we have to do. My daughter has a little thing in her apartment. She says, I'm doing what I have to do now so I can do what I want to do later. I get
That's good.
that. Yeah, and that's just it. And, we do things that are legal, that are honorable, but we do what we have to do now.
Legal and honorable, y'all.
Legal and honorable, and there's no shame in that. So my daughter has a job. Excuse me, have a little contact issue here, and her hours aren't what I would like, but she's a hard worker. She's committed to working. She wants to take care of her expenses and things that she has, and it's honorable. It's just later than I would like her to work, but I stay up and I make sure that when she's off her shift that I'm awake. And so that's what we do. She's doing what she needs to do now so that she can do what she wants to do later. So if that means taking a job, doing some things, and it's maybe not what you love, I get that. And I'm encouraging you, in addition to that, is figuring out the things that you love and, asking God, help me to figure out a way to monetize this. Who will pay me for what this is? Not just because, I'm Charlotte and I'm grand. What need am I fulfilling? What problem am I solving for other organizations? So here's some simple questions to ask with this business, and then we'll go on and look at some what I like to call money-wise money moves. What do I do? Question 1 for the burgeoning entrepreneur. What do I do? Who will I do it for? And the third question, how am I different? First off, what is it that I do in this business venture that I'm considering? What I do. Secondly, who do I do it for? Who's your target audience? Who needs what it is that you have? Okay. And then third, how am I different? Because I bet you there's somebody else out there doing it. There's a million different speakers. There's a million different. There's a million different everything. And that doesn't mean I shouldn't get in there and do my thing, because I believe this as well. And this is mindset work. If we operate from a place of lack, there's not enough. I can't share with Victoria. I can't partner with her. I can't do this because, I'm going to let out one of my secrets. And that's operating from a mindset of lack. Plenty is, yes, we need to be partnering on here. This is going to bless us.
That's right.
And there's enough to go around, because there are people who God has designed, Victoria, just for you to touch and reach. Right. And then there are people he set up that aren't going to be blessed until I get up off my hiney and do what I'm supposed to do.
That's good.
And that's just how it is. There's enough for all of us. So what do I do? Who do I do it for? And how am I different? Answer those questions. Tap into resources. Go to the Small Business Administration. And today, with post-COVID stuff, in COVID, a lot of resources, a lot of grants. Got to ask, seek out. Okay. So when I say explore the options first that are in here in you. to be an entrepreneur, to use those gifts, I want you to explore there. Then I want you to explore, and I'm going to go through some strategies, some ideas here. So let's start with what I call, again, first things first. We got to write down our specific goals. What are your goals, your financial goals, short-term, intermediate, and long-term? And thank you, Sue. She is putting these down. We can see the banner. Short-term goals, things that are from, the next 12 months, things that you want to do. Intermediate goals, a couple of years out, things that you want to do. And then long-term goals. These might be 5, 7, 8 years down the road. Okay. Now you might say, oh, this is a whole lot of work. You're right. It is. It is. And to master our finances, it can take some work. So roll up the sleeves, get ready, have the conversations, and dig in. So write those goals down and share the goals with the people you live with, the people you love. Talk with them about what's important to you. So discuss your goals with those people who are important to you. All the people who are on that list, have that talk and say, you know what, until tonight, I really wasn't talking about all this, but let's have a chat. So we're exploring all these different things that we want to do, okay? Now, here's something that's important for us to do. Understand our current financial statements. I want to know, do you have them and do you understand them? So locating your personal and family financial documents, that is critical. What do I mean? I'm like, seriously, where's your social security card stuff? If you do have wills and you have some durable powers of attorney and things of that sort, where are those documents? It's not just if there's a flood or there's bad weather, how can you get to them? It's because you need to know where those documents are, okay? And then financial statements, okay? Like, if you have a 401k, 403b, a 457 plan, these are retirement types of accounts through your employers, depending upon where you work. If it's a government agency, a corporation, or an association, educational system, you have access to retirement plans. So what about those statements? If they come electronically, digitally, or they are hard copies, do you open them? Seriously, I used to just get them and put them in the drawer. I didn't know if my balances were up or down. So open the documents, read them, understand. And if you don't, what you're invested in, you've likely got a pie chart there and it's divided up. That's showing your asset allocation for your retirement account. But
Charlotte, what if people don't have that? What if listeners right now don't have any of that? What would be a financial document for them? Just their bank statement?
Yeah, start with what you've got, where you bank, if it's a credit union or a financial institution. And many times we opt out of paper, which, great for the footprint that we're leaving. So you look at your statements online. So let me just interject here. Don't just look when they are produced on a monthly basis. Like everyday accounting is another strategy to explore. Like every day, go online, look at your bank account. Why? Because transactions come through. There might be some things. So Victoria, here is critical. It is looking at everything that's coming through our account, especially those subscriptions. We can find money from the subscriptions. What do I mean? So Netflix, Hulu, you paying for your Amazon Prime. Maybe there's some other stuff you signed up for and it's $8.95 here, $12.95 over there. The trainer from the gym been closed a long time. They just reopened. Maybe I've been paying the trainer $25 every month, and they're small amounts and they count on us forgetting. And so those things add up. So are you checking out your subscriptions and seeing if there's anything that you can eliminate or reduce or cut back on? So we need to look at our statements because those things will show up. So if you don't have a 401k, 453, any of that, no problem. Look at the statements that you do have, okay? Okay, no, I'm not looking at if there are any questions. If there are, let me know and let me stop. So let's move into this area that I call cash management. Well, let me go back to something else. I'm gonna make this statement and I wanna make sure everybody hears it as we get into this cash management piece. It's important for us to consume less than we produce.
Say it again.
Consume less than we produce. And really what I'm saying is live on less than you bring home.
You got to break that down for some of us, because some people still have, again, we're talking about a behavior, spending behaviors that they think they're lessening because they gave up their weave or they gave up the barbershop or something like that. But still, that money is going on, some oxtails. So, I might be sharing my stuff.
Why you got going down the oxtail trail? Okay, so it is really this. It is a lesson, a hard lesson I learned early on while I was at American Express and learning about investments. Here's another key thing. I know you all have heard it, and I'm going to say it again. It's not what you make, it's what you keep. It's not what you make, it's what you keep. So we could aspire to make, I need to be making $500,000, or somebody who's saying I need to get to that 6 figures. That's fine. But if you get there, and if your behaviors now are such that you live like you're making more than you make, whatever your number is, then that's going to put you in a position where you have no disposable income. And that's the Victoria. It is having disposable income. Disposable income is what's left after you have income and all your expenses. You've paid everything. You want to have some money left over. I mean, after you've taken care of everything, the groceries, the gas, and I don't care if it's $1, that person is in a better position than the person who makes a lot of money, but they don't have any when it's left. And they're tapping credit cards. And that was me. I had a lot of credit cards at one time in my life, had a good job, but I was paying the minimum on everything. Computer to PayPal, switching around these envelopes, doing different craziness, and was overextended. That's what I'm talking about. Overextended. So this idea of consume less than you produce, it's about developing the discipline to say, I will not spend every single dime I have. I'm not going to weave it up in my hair. I'm not going to put it on my eyes. I'm not going to put it on my fingernails or my feet or wear it. I'm going to develop the discipline to ensure that I don't spend every dime that I have. The people who are successful financially have developed that. There's a great book out. It's been around for a long time. It's called The Millionaire Next Door.
I got it.
It's a great book. And as you know, it talks about the behaviors, the habits. That's how come we talked about mindset stuff, Victoria, at the beginning. The people, and you can recount some of the things from there. I'd love you to share tonight, any things that you recall from there. My biggest takeaway is the behaviors of the wealthy, the millionaires. They didn't drive the newest cars. They don't live in the biggest, most brand new houses.
Say it.
They don't. They don't. You wouldn't even know them. You couldn't pick them out in a crowd necessarily because they just blend in. They get this principle, consume less than you produce. At the core, it's about living on less than you make. Let me give you 2 examples. So when I trained and taught financial advisors, we would have different clients. And so here comes a client. They are driving the newest thing. They're dripping in jewelry, designer, everything. They make a lot of money, husband and wife, but they don't have extra income to be able to invest. So really nothing we can do with them except, hey, try to get the budget together. Okay, now they make a lot of money, maybe, $300,000 between the 2 of them. Here comes another couple, they're making $70,000. They're not driving the newest car. They don't live in the best, it's not a bad part of town, but they're just not in that super affluent area. Steady, good incomes, but they have saved $50,000 and they have extra money after the paycheck every single month. Those are the people who develop the discipline to say, I'm going to consume less than I produce. Okay. So I know. Go ahead. No, you go ahead.
I know we don't have but a few more minutes with you, so I got to soak everything out of you in the next few very, very limited minutes. Because I know you have another a Zoom call that you have to get to. So I hear what you're saying, but just for a little bit, can you talk about this disposable income? Can you talk about the difference between cash, about the difference between investing and the difference between savings?
Yes. So saving, and so this gets us into cash management. Let me go through these. So,
okay.
Another strategy in this idea of explore is simply make sure that you've got a cash reserve. or an emergency fund. You call it what you want, rainy day or opportunity, 3 to 6 months of committed expenses. So if your bills, including rent, car payment, gas, lights, whatever, is $3,000 a month, then the goal is to have $9,000 set aside. That's 3 months of expenses. And why? Because life happens. Furloughs happen. COVID comes along crazy. So that's saving. That is saying I'm going to take an amount of money each month and put that aside so that it's put in something that's highly liquid. Now, I know the rates aren't great on money market accounts or savings accounts. It's okay. You want to preserve your principal. You don't want to lose that, okay? You don't want to lose that principle. So you put it somewhere where you can get to it, highly liquid, easily accessible. That is saving, okay? It's for the short term. Remember I said those goals, write down your goals. Short term saving, that's putting it aside in something that you can get your hands on. Those intermediate term goals, the next 2-3 years, that's where you save and you can have money taken out of your account. Automating it is a good thing. $25, $50, $100, $200, whatever you can do so you can put it aside, okay? So consistently taking money out of your account. Investing is the long-term money. This is where we put it into the markets. It might be in mutual funds, or it might be in bonds, or it could be in individual securities, stocks and such. Could be in limited partnerships or real estate investment trusts. There are all kinds of investments that are available, but that's not guaranteed by the Federal Deposit Insurance Company, the FDIC. Those are market related and ups and downs. So you can see swings in the market at night on the news when they talk about the Dow Jones Industrial Average was really high or it dropped. They're talking about the stock market. And so if you put your short-term money, this is saving, in long-term types of investments, and then you go to take it out in a couple of years and the market's down, that's when you can incur a loss. So long-term investments, you have to have the mindset that that's for the long term. And if the markets go up or if they go down, it's not a problem because that's my long-term money. And it will go up and it will go down. So investing is long-term, saving is more for your short-term or intermediate-term goals. But one thing I want everyone to do is develop, make sure you have an emergency fund, at least 3 months of expenses. And if that's overwhelming to you, start with $100 a month. So shoot for $1,200 that you've got in the bank and commit to raising that as quickly as possible. How? Have a garage sale, go sell some stuff on consignment, do some things to get $1,200 in the bank. That's $100 a month that you know you've got a bit of a cushion if something goes left. Okay, a few other things. So we talked about the emergency fund. Here's something else that's important for cash management, your statement of net worth. Okay, net worth is looking at what you own and what you owe. I call it O squared. It's ownership and it's ownership. What do you own? So all your assets, even if you still have a balance on it, it's being clear about that. We want a positive net worth. That's better than a negative net worth, even if your positive net worth is $1. And this is, what do you own? Again, get a piece of paper, make a list. Everything I own, what's that total? Then everything I owe, mortgage, car, credit cards, student loans, medical stuff. And then that gives you a sense of your net worth. So it's important to know that.
So let me ask you this real quick.
Sure.
What if people don't have that net worth and they lost their jobs? I mean, we are at a year of COVID and there are some people in the unemployment line.
Understood. So remember what I said, what you own. What do you own? If you have a car, even if you're making car payments, it is an asset. So what is the value of the car? Go on Kelley Blue Book, kbb.com. Look at the year, make, and model of your car. What is the value of the car? Then look at what you owe on it. Now, if you're upside down, you're upside down. But even if it's an old beater, you own it, that's an asset. I'm looking at your artwork behind you, Victoria. Those are assets. You own
Really?
them. Yeah,
okay.
Absolutely. And here's the thing. If you went out on the open market to sell it, could you garner some money for it? Absolutely. It is an asset. So all the things that you own are your assets. So you're having an income or having a job has nothing to do with your net worth. This is just to say, where am I today? It's understanding your net worth, all that you own. So it is your furnishings, it is your clothing, it is your art collection, it's your books, it's your jewelry, it is anything that you own that could be sold, and you could get some money for it. You follow what I'm saying?
I am. What one thing you shocked me about is that I didn't think about this as an asset, that even if you owe a balance on your car, it is still an asset. I never saw it as that. I just saw because I owe a car note that is not it's a liability more so than it's an asset. So that's something you just kind of like opened my lens to, because I never thought of it like that.
And it's like a mortgage for a house. You own the house, but you do pay the mortgage. So you need to look at what the mortgage balance is. And yet there's a value on the house. Now, cars are those crazy things where we can be upside down. And if we put some money down on it or we didn't, and because there's devaluing on the car, et cetera, all those things factor in. But absolutely, ownership and owership, that gets us to our net worth. Let's keep going. Here's another.
So hold on one minute, because I have from he's one of my bishops, and he's a financial guru person, and he wants to know if you have time, he would love for you to take on compound interest working for you or against you.
So this principle of compound interest is the idea that I tie it to time, the concept of time as well. You invest, you put money in an instrument, whether it's a savings vehicle or some investment. And let's say you start with $10 today, you put $10 in, let's say $100, and it earns, I don't know, 50 cents. Then you put another $100 in. You're not just starting with 100, you're starting with a balance of 100 plus 50 cents and then putting in more. So it's growing, it's compounding. And I believe that is a strong and important principle, especially when we start early. So consider saving for college for our kids when they're young. So you've got a newborn and you start putting $25 away every month. So you've got to be consistent with putting this aside every month for the child's life until they're 18 and they leave to go to college. This is how you can accumulate a substantial amount of money. It is because of compounding. So the first 25 goes in, it earns something. And so you're now adding 25 to this balance of 25 and whatever it's grown to, and you keep layering on. So that first $25 keeps growing, and each that you add to keeps growing. And time and compounding working in concert can help us to achieve goals. So that's how come when you do start a new job, there's the opportunity to invest in the retirement plan, start and put in everything that you can and get the company match. So if they say, we'll match, you put in 3%, we'll give you another 3, put the whole 3%, have that, because it's smart move from a tax standpoint. It reduces your taxable income and you're getting the match, and it's going to grow for you. So start on day one doing that. Data will show you 2 people start the same day at a job. One person starts having $50, $100 taken out of their account, put into the retirement. The other person says, no, I'll wait. The person who starts day one, they can go for 10 years consistently, put money aside. It grows through compounding and because of time. Then they stop. The other person starts after 10 years and then does that for another 20 years. You know what? Both portfolios grow, but the first person who started sooner, theirs is going to grow to more because they started earlier. So compounding with time will really work. So Mr. Alex Bird, I see your name there. That's my feeling from the work, not just a feeling, but from work and research. Time compounding, starting early can be of benefit. Mm-hmm.
So working against you is not starting.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yes, that's it. What works against you is not doing anything. That is it. And my mother, that's why I titled my book, I Wish Someone Had Told Me. She said, Charlotte, there was a woman at the job like me. She didn't know anything. I didn't know she didn't. but she was very authoritative. And she told my mother, girl, don't let them take that money out of your account and put it in a 401k. You got mouths to feed. You have kids to feed. And my mother didn't understand that that was going to help her reduce her taxable base. So when it was tax time, and that's so key. I have to come back. We'll have to talk more, Victoria. We really will.
Right.
But she said she didn't get it. And that was going to help her to grow her retirement account. And so it took her, my mother worked over 32 years, and she didn't really start investing in the retirement plan until after like 7, 8 years that she was on the job. So she missed out. So you're right. You're absolutely right. That is the problem when we don't do anything. And so here's one thing I want to say about kind of that cash management area. And then I'm going to just quick go through a few other things because I know we've
You got 2 minutes.
Okay, so here's the key for everybody, annualcreditreport.com. Go and check out your credit report. So I know if you've been hit by COVID, this, that, and the other, but this is being money smart. Know what's in your credit report. It's how your creditors see you. You're applying for credit, a new job, what have you, annualcreditreport.com. Every year, everybody can get that free. The year starts when you go in there. And don't pull them all at one time. There's 3 credit reporting agencies. Do it every quarter. Look at Experian the first quarter. Go back in the second quarter. Look at TransUnion or whichever one. 3-4 months after that, look at Equifax. That way you're able to see on a rolling basis, is anything changing? You got any errors? Is there any hacking going on? Okay. Fraud is a big deal. And here's a big tip. Do it for your kids. Pull their social security numbers, go in there, do the very same.
That's good.
Okay? Annualcreditreport.com. Quick. Risk management. Look at your insurances. Look at the deductibles. Can you raise them? Can you raise those deductibles? And then potentially what you're paying each month, your premium could be brought down. That's a strategy. We're talking about examine. We talked about that. Explore different things. Do you need long-term care, disability insurance? Have a conversation with an insurance expert who can help you. And then here's the last piece I'll just say about investments. Don't invest in anything you don't understand. Remember the difference between saving and investing. Saving is more short-term, more liquid, develop discipline, long-term for your investment goals. Do not invest in something you don't understand. And if it sounds too good to be true, you're going to make some money overnight.
Right.
Run. Okay. If it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. So investing is about time frame, risk tolerance, tax bracket, and goals. Those are the key things around investing. What is your time frame for when you'll need to pull the money out? What is your risk tolerance? How comfortable are you with significant highs or real strong drops? Your tax bracket is going to be different from the other person's. So there's no one size fits all. Okay.
So Charlotte, listen, I know you got to go, but let me say this real quick. Listen, I know when we do the replay, listen, like, tag, and share everyone you can. Charlotte Stallings. We're going to do a part 2 because she and I had a conversation. We have to do it. We have to do more conversation around cash management. And then we have to talk about whole life versus term life insurance. And when we come back and the big whoop blah around that. And then we want to talk about culturally how Black folks view money. The mindset is not wrong, but it's just the ways in which we spend. Like you talked about your mom, she may have not known, but culturally, we just see money. Whereas we're trying to do family where certain groups of people, particularly white groups of people, focus on not being able to pay tax. And I think you taught me that. They don't want to they don't want to pay tax. So they'll do anything to not pay tax, where we focus on a different realm. And we'll talk about that. Listen, y'all.
We don't even think about the taxes. That's not even on our radar because it's not entered into our conversations. Remember, you said at the beginning, it's this thing, I'll call it the stigma around the conversation around money. And I don't want that to be the case. Taxes, are a part of life, and other cultures see that as that's my goal, to minimize that, but we don't talk about it. So we have to do this again very soon because
thank you so much. I know you got to go to another call. If you want to go ahead and blink her out, that's fine. And then I'm going to go ahead and do this closing.
Thank you, Victoria.
Thank you, Charlotte. Love you. Thank you. So honored that you did this for us. Listen, everybody, like, tag, and share everyone you can. We're going to do a part 2. We have to do a part 2 on this whole understanding money and the behaviors around money. And we'll talk about, it culturally. And Not that it's a wrong thing, but a lot of times things don't enter into our conversations, social, how we were based on how we were socialized around money, right? And we're going to have that deeper conversation. Charlotte and I talked a lot about money, and there's some rich stuff that we couldn't just get out in an hour. I should have made it an hour and a half. That's on me. But anyway, we're going to do a part 2 with her soon. We just have to check her schedule and then do a part 2 for this programming. Listen, you don't want to miss the next viewing in 2 weeks. It's going down again like 4 flat tires, where we'll have as our guest for that evening, Dr. Or some people call it Apostle, but I'm gonna say Dr. Donaldson, Edward Donaldson, and he's gonna come to us on intersectionality around how we, again, it's a behavior thing, a mindset thing, and how we counter some things in Black Lives Matter versus our spirituality and interconnectedness theologically. And so we're gonna go there and we're gonna talk about how do we lead from the edges. Come on, somebody. How do we lead from the edges? And let me just give you a little preview verbally about what's going to happen in April. We're going to have 2 different groups. We're going to have a female group, and we're going to have some women come together, and we're going to be talking about girls' trip. And we're going to talk about, are we there yet? And we're going to talk about what we're going to talk about, and I'll show that later, forecast that later. Don't want to put it all out there. And then we're going to have a men's group, and we're going to talk about boys to Q men, and we're going to talk about Black, gay, and grown. Black men over 50, lay it down for us, what it means to live in America right now. Black gay men over 50, professional men. And so we got, what I'm telling you, we got a show for you in the next 2 weeks and then in the month of April. Listen, it's time to go. Thank you for tuning in. Like, tag, and share with family. Replay this over and over. We will have Charlotte back. If she says she's coming back, she's going to come back. I love you. I thank you for taking the time to take the time. Remember to hug 3 or 4 people now that we're getting back. Even if you cannot physically hug them in the spirit, hug them virtually. It'll put a blessed smile on your face. Change the mindset about money, and you will begin to create new behaviors in how you handle money. Gotta go. See you later. And don't forget, I want to thank Kara Solutions. I want to thank Sue. Sue, can you show your face real quick? So we're going to wave to Sue, and we're just going to say she is who helps me behind the scenes. She helps me with production, and she helps me sometimes manage these discussions. And so I appreciate you, and I just want everybody to know. And thank you so much. See you later. Take care, and God bless you.